The blood on my hands wasn't mine. That's what I kept telling myself as I stood in the private elevator of Chan and Associates, watching the numbers climb toward the 52nd floor. 51. 52. The doors opened to Kang Jisu's office, and he stood there in the dim light like a dark promise, his white shirt stained with the same crimson that decorated my palms. "You're in shock," he said quietly, his accented voice cutting through the ringing in my ears. "That's normal. Come inside, Katie. We need to clean you up before the police arrive." But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start 6 hours earlier, when I still believed I was nobody. Before we dive into Katie and Jisu's dangerous love story, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because the stories on this channel only get more addictive from here. And drop a comment telling me, would you accept protection from someone obsessed with you? Let's see what you think by the end of this story. December 31st, 5:47 p.m. The fluorescent lights of Chun and Associates hummed their usual monotonous song as I wiped down the marble conference table on the 48th floor. My reflection stared back at me from the polished surface. Katie Morrison, 28, with box braids pulled into a neat bun, wearing the same navy cleaning uniform I'd worn for 18 months. I was invisible. That was the job. Move through spaces like air, present but unnoticed. Except someone had been noticing. I found the first photograph 3 weeks ago, tucked inside a confidential folder I was supposed to dust around. Not open. A candid shot of me laughing with Marcus, the night security guard. Professional quality. Taken from a distance. Time-stamped 2 months prior. I convinced myself it was a mistake. Some company surveillance I'd accidentally gotten caught in. Corporate security testing new cameras. Anything except the truth that was currently sitting in my locker downstairs. 11 more photographs, each more intimate than the last. Me at the bus stop. Me volunteering at the community center. Me visiting my aunt at the hospital. Me. Someone was watching. And tonight I was gonna find out who. "Still here, Katie?" Marcus called from the hallway. "Girl, it's New Year's Eve. Even the workaholics went home." "Almost done?" I lied, forcing brightness into my voice. "Just need to finish the executive floor." What I really needed was access to Kang Jisu's office. The CEO's private domain where, according to building schematics I'd studied obsessively, the security system's central server was housed. If someone was surveilling me through company cameras, the evidence would be there. I was going to find it, confront them, end this. The executive floor was silent except for the hum of expensive air conditioning. 52 stories above Chicago, where the city sprawled beneath like scattered diamonds and the air tasted of power and old money. I used my master key card to enter Jisu's office, my heart hammering against my ribs. The space was dark except for the city lights filtering through floor-to-ceiling windows. Minimalist elegance. Dark wood. Chrome accents. A desk that looked like modern art. And on every surface, hidden in plain sight, were signs I'd been too blind to see before. A coffee mug from the shop I frequented, sitting on his credenza. A book I'd mentioned loving once to Carmen, bookmarked on his shelf. And on his desk, partially hidden beneath contracts a photograph. Not one of the ones from my locker. A new one. Me yesterday, wearing the red scarf I'd gotten for Christmas. Smiling at something on my phone. Unaware I was being captured. "You weren't supposed to see that." I spun so fast I knocked over the photograph. Jisu stood in the doorway of his private bathroom, backlit by soft light. He wore black dress pants and a white shirt with the sleeves rolled to his elbows, revealing forearms that looked stronger than any CEO's should. His dark hair, usually perfectly styled, fell slightly across his forehead. He looked younger like this, and infinitely more dangerous. "You." The word came out choked. "It's been you this whole time." Yes. No apology. No shame. Just brutal honesty delivered in that quiet, controlled voice that made my skin prickle. "For a year. Since the day you smiled at me in the elevator and I realized I would never be the same. That's stalking. That's criminal. Obsessive. Wrong." He moved into the room with predatory grace. "I know what it is, Katie. I've known from the beginning. But knowing something is wrong doesn't make me capable of stopping." The door closed behind him. Not a slam. A whisper. Somehow that was worse. I should scream, I said, backing up until the desk stopped me. Marcus is 2 floors down. I should. You should. But you won't. He stepped closer, and the city lights caught his face. Dark eyes, sharp jaw, an expression that was part hunger, part resignation. Because you've known for 3 weeks that someone was watching you, and instead of going to the police, you came here tonight to find out who. That's not the behavior of someone who wants this to stop. That's the behavior of someone who needs to understand why. He was right. God help me, he was right. Why? My voice cracked. Why me? You could have anyone. Models, socialites, women who actually belong in your world. Why fixate on the cleaning woman? Because you're real. He stopped 3 feet away, close enough to touch, far enough to let me breathe. Because in a world of people who want what I can give them, you just wanted to make sure the night security guard's daughter could afford college. Because you give your own food to homeless people even when you haven't eaten lunch yourself. Because you're kind, Katie. Genuinely, selflessly kind. And I've built my life on understanding human behavior well enough to know that kind of goodness is rare. So you decided to violate my privacy? I decided to protect you. His jaw tightened. Do you know how many people have tried to hurt you in the past year? Really hurt you? The question threw me. What are you talking about? The man who followed you home from the bus stop in March. He's currently serving time for assault in Indiana. I made sure the prosecutor had everything they needed. The landlord who was planning to illegally evict you for rejecting his advances. He now manages properties in Alaska after some convincing. Stop. I held up a shaking hand. Just stop. You're saying you've been... What? Playing guardian angel while also stalking me. I'm saying I've been obsessed with protecting you while also being obsessed with knowing everything about you. I won't lie about what this is, Katie. It's not healthy. It's not normal. But it's kept you safe. I didn't ask to be kept safe. No. You asked the universe why you couldn't catch a break. You asked why you had to work 3 jobs while your aunt died slowly from cancer you couldn't afford to treat properly. You asked why the world was so goddamn unfair to people who did everything right. His voice dropped lower. I heard you, and I decided to be the answer. My throat tightened. What does that mean? It means your aunt's medical bills are paid. All of them. Past, present, and future treatment. It means the hospital thinks it's a charitable foundation, but it's actually me. It means she's not dying anymore, Katie. The treatment is working because she finally has access to the best doctor's money can buy instead of whatever her insurance would approve. The room tilted. That's not you can't just. I already did. 6 months ago. He pulled out his phone, tapped the screen, and held it up. Medical records. Payment confirmations. Scans showing shrinking tumors. Your Aunt Elena is going to survive. You don't have to sacrifice yourself anymore trying to save her. I'm doing it for you. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. This man, this stranger I'd exchanged maybe 20 words with in 18 months, had been secretly funding my aunt's treatment while photographing me like some kind of demented guardian angel. This is insane. Yes. You need professional help. Probably. I should run. Right now. I should run and never look back. You should. He pocketed his phone. But you won't. Because as terrifying as this is, part of you, the part that's been drowning for 8 years since your parents died, is relieved. Part of you is grateful that someone finally cared enough to actually help instead of just offering thoughts and prayers. You don't know what I'm feeling. Don't I? He moved closer and I had nowhere to go. You're scared, confused, angry that I violated your privacy. But you're also feeling something else. Something you don't want to admit. You're feeling seen. For the first time in years, someone sees you. Not the uniform. Not the struggle. You. Katie Morrison. The brilliant woman who graduated summa cum laude from Northwestern with a degree in international business, and somehow ended up cleaning toilets because the world doesn't give black women with no connections a fair shot. The racial acknowledgement hit different. Most people in his world pretended not to notice. Pretended race didn't matter. But he saw it. Knew it. Understood exactly which barriers I'd been fighting against. How do you know all this? Because I've spent a year learning everything about you. He was close enough now that I could smell his cologne, something expensive and dark. I know you're fluent in Spanish and conversational in French. I know you volunteer at community centers teaching financial literacy. I know you read poetry when you're sad and listen to neo-soul when you're happy. I know you put everyone else's needs before your own until there's nothing left of you. Stop. I know you're lonely, Katie. I know you lie awake at night wondering if this is all life will ever be. I know you're tired of being strong, tired of surviving, tired of invisible. Stop. My voice broke. I know that scares you more than my obsession, the idea that someone might actually see you clearly and still want you. Not want to use you or take from you. Just want you. Tears burned behind my eyes. Why are you doing this? Because it's 11 p.m. on December 31st, and I don't want to start another year without you knowing the truth. His hand came up slowly, giving me time to pull away. When I didn't, his fingers brushed my cheek with unexpected gentleness. I'm obsessed with you, Katie Morrison. I have been since the day you smiled at me like I was just a person instead of a dynasty. And I'm done pretending I'm not. This isn't people don't. People don't what? Fall in love with strangers? Obsess over someone they've barely spoken to? Reorganize their entire life around protecting someone who doesn't know they exist? His thumb traced my jawline. Maybe normal people don't, but I've never been normal. And I've never wanted anything the way I want you. Before I could respond, the office lights exploded with brilliant intensity. The backup generator kicked in half a second later, plunging everything into emergency lighting, red and harsh and disorienting. Jesu's entire demeanor changed. The vulnerable man disappeared, replaced by something cold and lethal. He pulled out his phone, his free hand moving to the small of my back, pressing me against him. Stay quiet, he commanded, his voice barely above a whisper. What's happening? Someone cut the power. He was already moving, pulling me toward his desk. Someone who knew exactly which circuits to hit to disable the primary security system without triggering the alarms. How do you? Because I designed the system. He pressed a hidden button under his desk, and a panel slid open, revealing a gun safe. And only 3 people know its vulnerabilities. My heart stopped. Jesu, what? The window exploded. Glass rained inward in a glittering waterfall as 2 figures in tactical gear rappelled through the opening. Professional. Military precision. The kind of home invasion you didn't survive. Jesu moved before I could scream. He shoved me behind his desk with one hand while drawing a gun from the safe with the other. The first shot was deafening in the enclosed space. One of the figures dropped. The second returned fire, and suddenly we were in a war zone. Jesu pulled me down, his body covering mine, as bullets shredded the space where we'd just been standing. Who are they? I gasped against the carpet, tasting expensive wool and terror. People who know I've been protecting you. His voice was eerily calm. People who think taking you will hurt me. They're right. He rose smoothly, fired twice more. The second figure collapsed. But the silence that followed wasn't relief. It was anticipation. There will be more, Jesu said, pulling me to my feet. His shirt was torn, blood seeping through near his shoulder. This was just the first wave. We need to move. Now. You're bleeding. I'm fine. He was already moving, pulling me toward the private elevator. Katie, I need you to trust me. Can you do that? Can you trust me for the next 10 minutes? I looked at the bodies on his floor, looked at the gun in his hand, looked at the man who'd been stalking me for a year and somehow also saving my life in the present. Yes. His smile was brief and beautiful and terrifying. Good. Because the next 10 minutes are going to redefine everything you thought you knew about me. The elevator ride down was the longest of my life. Jesu made 3 phone calls in rapid Korean, his tone clipped and commanding. Blood dripped from his shoulder, creating a small pool on the pristine elevator floor. Put pressure on it, I said, wadding up my uniform shirt and pressing it against his wound. I wore only a tank top beneath, and the cool air raised goosebumps on my brown skin. His eyes darkened, tracking the movement. You're shaking. Someone just tried to kill us. Not us. You. His free hand covered mine, pressing harder against the wound. They wanted you alive. The bullets were aimed at me, at anyone protecting you. You were always the objective. Why? I'm nobody. You're mine. The possessive certainty in his voice should have scared me. Instead, it sent heat pooling low in my stomach. Which makes you valuable to my enemies. Which makes you a target I should have anticipated better. The elevator opened to the parking garage. 3 black SUVs waited, engines running, surrounded by men in suits who moved with military precision. One of them tall, graying, with eyes that had seen violence, approached immediately. Mr. Kong. Status? 2 hostiles neutralized in my office. Likely more in the building. Full lockdown protocol. Get Katie to the safe house. I'll follow once the building is secured. No. The word burst out of me before I could think. If someone's trying to kill you, I'm not leaving. Both men looked at me with surprise. Then Jisoo really smiled for the first time. She stays with me, Vincent. Upgrade to primary protection detail. Vincent's expression suggested this was a terrible idea, but he nodded. Sir. They surrounded us like a human shield, moving toward the lead SUV with choreographed efficiency. That's when the shooting started again. Muzzle flashes lit up the parking garage like deadly fireworks. Vincent shoved me into the SUV while Jisoo returned fire with cold precision. Bodies dropped. Glass shattered. The smell of gunpowder and burnt rubber filled my lungs. And then we were moving, tires screaming as the driver executed an escape that belonged in action movies. Not real life. Jisoo slid in beside me, slamming the door as bullets pinged off the armored exterior. His hand immediately found mine, checking me for injuries with trembling fingers that betrayed his controlled expression. Are you hurt? Katie, look at me. Are you hurt? No. I'm not. I'm fine. I wasn't fine. I was covered in blood that wasn't mine, surrounded by armed men, fleeing from people who wanted me dead for reasons I didn't understand. Jisoo. What the hell is happening? A business rival decided to send a message. His jaw tightened as Vincent worked on his shoulder wound, wrapping it with practiced efficiency. By taking what matters most to me. I don't matter to you. We barely know each other. You matter more than anything. He pulled out his phone with his good hand, typing rapidly. Which is why you're now the most protected person in Chicago. I've activated every resource I have. Called in every favor. By morning, the people who did this will wish they'd never learned your name. You can't just. This is insane. We need to call the police. Report this. Let actual authorities. The authorities can't protect you from the kind of people I'm dealing with. His dark eyes met mine, and for the first time, I saw past the controlled CEO to the man beneath. The one capable of violence, of ruthlessness, of whatever it took to keep me safe. But I can. I will. Even if it means revealing exactly how dark my world gets. The SUV pulled into an underground garage that required 3 levels of security clearance. We emerged into a private elevator that rose to a penthouse I'd only seen in magazines' modernist luxury, floor-to-ceiling windows, the kind of wealth that made my entire existence seem quaint. Welcome to my home, Jisoo said quietly, watching me take it in. The first person outside of staff I've invited here in 3 years. Why? Because everyone else wanted something from me. He shrugged out of his ruined jacket, wincing. You just want to understand. And I'm going to give you that. I'm going to tell you everything, Katie. Every dark corner of my world. Every reason you should run. And then I'm going to convince you to stay anyway. A woman appeared, elegant, efficient, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. Mr. Kong. I've prepared the medical suite and contacted Dr. Chun. He'll be here within the hour. Thank you, Sophia. He turned to me. This is Sophia Romano, my assistant. Sophia, this is Katie Morrison. Treat her security as equivalent to mine. Full access. Total transparency. Sophia's eyebrows rose fractionally. Then she nodded. Of course. Miss Morrison, would you like to freshen up? I've prepared the guest suite with clothes in your size. How do you know my size? We're very thorough in our research. The same words Jisoo had used, delivered with the same controlled calm. I looked between them, this powerful man and his equally formidable assistant, and understood that I'd stumbled into a world with rules I didn't know. where people died in office buildings and CEOs carried guns and research meant surveillance. I need to call my aunt, I said. I need to make sure she's safe. If people are targeting me, already handled. Jisoo pulled up his phone, showing me a live security feed. My Aunt Elena sat in her living room, surrounded by 4 men in casual clothes who managed to look both non-threatening and absolutely lethal. She thinks they're private nurses I arranged through her medical program. She's completely protected and doesn't need to be frightened by the truth. You've thought of everything. I've been planning for this moment for a year. He moved closer, and despite everything, the violence, the obsession, the insanity, I didn't pull away. The moment you finally knew the truth. The moment you became visible to my enemies. The moment I had to choose between keeping you safe from a distance or claiming you completely. And you chose claiming. I chose you, Katie. However I can have you. Whatever that means. His hand came up to cup my face, thumb brushing across my cheekbone. I know this is terrifying. I know you should run. But I'm begging for you to stay. Let me show you what being mine actually means. Let me prove that obsession and protection can be the same thing. Before I could answer, his phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and something deadly crossed his features. What? They took Marcus. My stomach dropped. The security guard? They took Marcus. To lure you out. They know you care about him. Know you'll try to help. His grip on his phone tightened until I heard the case crack. They're using your kindness as a weapon. Then we have to call the police. Negotiate something. No. His voice was cold. Final. We end this. Tonight. Permanently. He looked up at Vincent, who'd appeared in the doorway. Gather the team. Full tactical loadout. I want locations on everyone involved in this operation. And I want Katie's protection detail tripled. She doesn't leave this penthouse. I'm coming with you. Absolutely not. They took Marcus because of me. Because I'm important to you. Because I'm a target now, whether I want to be or not. I stepped closer, forcing him to really see me. I don't know what world you operate in, but I know that hiding here while you risk your life to save someone I care about isn't an option. So either I come with protection or I find my own way there. Choose. For a long moment, we stared at each other. Then his smile was sharp as broken glass. You're going to fit into my world better than either of us anticipated. The warehouse on Chicago's south side looked abandoned, crumbling brick, broken windows. The perfect place for people to disappear. We approached with military precision. Jisoo's team moving like shadows around the perimeter. I wore tactical gear that Sophia had produced within minutes, complete with a vest that felt like wearing armor. Jisoo hadn't wanted me anywhere near the actual confrontation, but he'd compromised by keeping me in the command vehicle with 3 guards and full communication access. 8 hostiles inside, Vincent reported through the comms. Marcus is alive, basement level. They're expecting ransom negotiation. They're getting something else. Jisoo's voice was cold. 3 minutes. Then we breach. I watched through the vehicle's monitors as they moved into position. Jisoo led from the front, not directing from safety but putting himself in danger with the kind of fearlessness that should have been stupid but instead seemed calculated. Like he'd done this before. Many times before. The breach was violent and brief. Flashbangs. Gunfire. Screams cut short. Within 2 minutes it was over. Target secured, Jisoo reported. 8 hostiles neutralized. Building clear. Bringing Marcus up. I was out of the vehicle before my guards could stop me. Running toward the warehouse entrance where Jisoo emerged supporting Marcus. The older man looked roughed up but alive. His dark skin showing bruises but no serious injuries. Katie, Marcus's eyes widened. Baby girl, what are you doing here? They said Mr. Kong would come alone. I'm here because your family, I said, helping support his other side. Because you've looked out for me since day one. Because I'm not letting anyone hurt the people I love. Mr. Kong. Marcus looked between us with dawning understanding. You and Katie. She's the reason they came after us? Yes. No hesitation from Jisoo. She's the reason for everything. Back at the penthouse, after Marcus had been checked by doctors and sent home with enough security to guard royalty, after the adrenaline faded and exhaustion set in, Jisoo found me standing at the floor-to-ceiling windows, staring at the city that had tried to kill us both. "You should be resting," he said quietly, appearing beside me with 2 glasses of whiskey. "I should be processing." I took the offered glass. "Processing that my life exploded tonight. That I'm apparently valuable enough to kidnap. That you've been obsessed with me for a year and also somehow saved my life multiple times. That I watched you kill people. Does that frighten you?" I thought about it honestly. About the bodies in his office. The cold efficiency of the warehouse raid. The way he moved through violence like it was choreographed. It should. But knowing they wanted to hurt Marcus, hurt me, hurt everyone I care about, I met his eyes. No, it doesn't frighten me. What frightens me is how little I care that you killed them. That's not a moral failing, Katie. That's survival instinct. That's understanding that some threats don't get second chances. Is that what your world is? Kill or be killed? My world is complicated. He set down his glass, turning to face me fully. I run a legitimate international business. But I also operate in spaces where traditional law doesn't reach. Where power and money speak louder than courts. Where protecting what's mine sometimes requires methods most people never have to consider. You're saying you're a criminal. I'm saying I exist in gray spaces. I've never sold drugs or trafficked humans. I don't prey on the innocent. But I've broken laws to protect my interests. Ruined competitors who played dirty. Made sure people who threatened my family disappeared from my world. He paused. Tonight was a rival organization trying to expand into territory I control. They thought taking you would make me weak. They were wrong. What happened to them? They won't threaten anyone again. His hand found my face, tilting it up toward his. Katie, I need you to understand something. What I feel for you, this obsession, this need, it's the most dangerous thing about me. Because I will burn this entire city down before I let anyone hurt you. I will cross lines that would horrify you. I will become the monster everyone fears I already am. That's what loving you means in my world. You love me. Not a question. A stunned realization. Yes. Simple. Absolute. I've loved you since that elevator. Since you smiled at a stranger and made me feel human for the first time in years. I've loved you through a year of watching you struggle while I tried to help from the shadows. I love you now, covered in blood in my penthouse, looking at me like you're trying to decide if I'm salvation or damnation. Maybe you're both. His smile was beautiful and broken. Then choose me anyway. Choose this complicated, dangerous thing between us. Choose to be claimed and protected and obsessed over. Choose to let me love you the only way I know how, completely, ruthlessly, without reservation or apology. The city glittered below us, oblivious to how my world had tilted on its axis. In the span of 6 hours, I'd gone from invisible cleaning woman to the center of a dangerous man's universe. I should have been terrified, should have run the moment I had the chance. Instead, I found myself stepping closer, my hands finding his chest, feeling the rapid beat of his heart beneath expensive fabric and bloody bandages. If I choose this, I said quietly, if I choose you, I need you to promise me something. Anything. No more secrets. No more watching me from the shadows. No more making decisions about my life without including me. I met his intense gaze. I'm not some prize to be protected from reality. I'm a partner. If I'm stepping into your world, I'm stepping all the way in. Not as something you keep locked in a penthouse. As someone standing beside you. Something shifted in his expression, surprise giving way to fierce approval. You want to be part of my world? Katie, you have no idea what you're asking for. Then show me. Teach me. Let me in completely. My hands fisted in his shirt. Because I've been invisible my whole life. And if being claimed by you means finally being seen, finally matching to someone who has the power to actually change things, then I want that. I want you, even though it's insane. Even though we barely know each other. Even though I should be running. Why aren't you running? Because you paid off my aunt's medical bills without asking for anything in return. Because you protected Marcus even though it meant revealing how you feel. Because you've been obsessed with me for a year and never once tried to use that power to hurt me. I pulled him closer. Because when you look at me, I don't feel like Katie Morrison. the cleaning woman struggling to survive. I feel like someone worth obsessing over, worth protecting, worth claiming. You are. His voice was rough. God, Katie, you are. You're worth everything I'm about to put you through, worth every risk, worth reshaping my entire world to make room for you in it. Then do it. Claim me. Show me what it means to be yours. His control snapped. His mouth found mine with a hunger that spoke of a year's worth of desperate wanting finally unleashed. This wasn't gentle exploration. This was possession, ownership, a man claiming what he'd been denied for too long. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against mine. There's no going back from this. I don't want to go back. I want to go forward, into whatever this is. Then we start now. Tonight. This moment. He pulled back slightly, his dark eyes searching my face. It's 11:52 p.m. on December 31st. Katie Morrison. In 8 minutes it will be a new year. A new beginning. And I don't want to start another year without you really knowing that you belong with me. I'm starting to understand. I touched his face, feeling the sharp angle of his jaw, the warmth of his skin. Your obsession. Why you couldn't let go. Because I felt it tonight too. When they tried to hurt you. When I thought I might lose you before I even really had you. This thing between us, it's not normal. It's not healthy. But it's real. Yes. His hands framed my face with unexpected gentleness. It's real. And it's ours. However complicated. However dangerous. However obsessive. It's ours. Through the windows, Chicago began its countdown. Distant sounds of celebration filtering up from the streets below. Fireworks ready to explode. A city preparing to welcome a new year. Katie? Jisoo said quietly, his voice carrying weight that made my heart race. I've spent a year watching you, learning you, falling in love with every part of who you are. But I've never told you before now. Never said it out loud where you could hear. He paused, and in that moment, the controlled CEO disappeared, leaving just a man desperately in love. I love you. I'm obsessed with you. I need you in my life more than I need air. And I will spend every day proving that choosing this dangerous, complicated life was the right decision. The countdown reached 0. Fireworks exploded across the city. And as a new year began, I kissed him back, choosing obsession over safety, possession over invisibility, a dangerous love over a lonely existence. I love you too, I whispered against his mouth. I don't know when it happened. Maybe tonight. Maybe a year ago in an elevator. But I love you, Jisoo. All the dark parts. All the dangerous parts. All of it. His smile was beautiful and victorious and full of dark promises. Then welcome to my world, Katie Morrison. Welcome to being mine. So what happens now? He pulled me close, his arms banding around me like he never planned to let go. Now I teach you everything. How my world works. How to protect yourself. How to stand beside me instead of behind me. How to be the queen of an empire most people don't know exists. He pressed a kiss to my temple. And you teach me how to love someone more than power. How to be human instead of just a machine designed to acquire and control. How to deserve the gift you're giving me by staying. Sounds complicated. It will be. But Katie, he pulled back just enough to meet my eyes. I promise you, being mine, being loved by me, being part of my world, it will never be boring. And you will never be invisible again. As the new year stretched before us, full of danger and promise and a love that defied every logical boundary, I realized the truth. I hadn't been saved tonight. I'd been claimed. And the terrifying, exhilarating part was how much I wanted it. How much I wanted him. How much I wanted this life where I mattered enough to fight for, to kill for, to reshape reality for. I was Katie Morrison, and I belonged to Kang Jisoo. That was my truth now. And I would spend the rest of my life learning how to deserve his obsession. So, Katie chose obsession over safety. She chose to be claimed. What would you do? Drop a comment and tell me, would you stay with Jisoo or run for your life? Is his obsession romantic or terrifying? What do you think happens next in their dangerous world? If you love this dark romance story, Smash that like button and subscribe for more addictive tales of dangerous men and the women who tame them. We drop new stories every your schedule. Want more? Check out previous story title in the description below. It's completely different but just as intense. My people, as this year winds down, I just want to say thank you for the love and support. Wherever you're watching from, may the year ahead bring you peace, health, and happiness. Drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. Happy New Year. See you in the next one.